fabled heat, where magic meets desire. Subscribe to ignite the fantasy.
The chipped ceramic of my favorite mug warmed my hands, a small comfort against the relentless chill that seemed to seep into everything this time of year. Earl Grey, steeped just a little longer than usual, sent a fragrant plume of steam curling towards the low ceiling of my study. Rain, a proper autumn deluge, lashed against the window pane, a rhythmic drumming that usually soothed me, but tonight felt restless. I was attempting to grade papers, a stack of endless essays on the socio-economic impact of goblin trade routes. Honestly, the student's grasp of basic economics was appalling when Lyra appeared. It wasn't a dramatic entrance, no flash of light or booming thunder just there, but the shift in the atmosphere was immediate. Her scent hit me first, a complex layering that always felt both familiar and utterly alien. Bergamot, yes, like my tea, but undercut with something wilder, something akin to ozone and the metallic tang of an approaching storm. It cut through the steam of my tea, sharpened my senses. One moment I was circling a particularly egregious grammatical error, there versus there, honestly. The next, her fingers, cool and surprisingly delicate, grazed my wrist, sending a jolt, not unpleasant but undeniably powerful, dancing up my arm. A warmth bloomed beneath her touch, spreading quickly. "Professor," she purred, the sound a low vibration that seemed to resonate in my bones. "You're about to learn real magic." A shiver ran down my spine, not from cold but from anticipation. Her voice wasn't just sound, it was a caress, a promise, a spell woven from silk and shadow. I found myself unconsciously holding my breath. I'd known Lyra for months, of course. She was a frequent visitor to the university library, always seeking out obscure texts on forgotten lore. I dismissed her as an eccentric, a dedicated scholar. Now I wasn't so sure. "I am not sure I follow," I managed, my voice sounding strangely small in the quiet room. I tried to focus on the papers in front of me, a pathetic attempt to ground myself, but my vision felt blurry, my thoughts scattered. She didn't answer with words. Instead, she simply tightened her grip on my wrist, her touch becoming more insistent, more demanding. Colors began to subtly shift around the edges of my vision, the warm browns and reds of my study deepening, becoming almost saturated. It wasn't painful, not yet, it was her. Her power, vast and ancient, was beginning to unfurl, to wrap around me like a silken cocoon. Then came the unraveling. It wasn't a violent tearing, but a gentle dissolution. Colors leached from the room, fading into shades of gray, then white. My awareness fractured, splintering into 1,000 tiny pieces. The scent of bergamot and lightning intensified, overwhelming my senses. I felt disconnected, as if I were floating outside of my own body. The papers, the mug, the rain, everything became distant, unimportant, until only she remained. The goddess who'd been watching me, observing me from the shadows of the library stacks, her storm cloud eyes now wide with a flicker of something that looked suspiciously like panic. She hadn't intended this, I realized with a sudden, chilling clarity. This wasn't a demonstration, it was an accident. What is happening? The thought formed, fragmented and weak, in the back of my mind. Why does it feel like I'm disappearing? But before I could formulate any coherent thought, before I could even fully grasp the extent of what was happening, Lyra's lips were inches from mine, her breath a gentle whisper against my skin. "Oh, darling," she breathed, her voice laced with desperation. "I'll make this right." Her kiss tasted of ambrosia and regret, a divine apology searing through what remained of my mortal form. It wasn't a passionate, demanding kiss, but a desperate plea, a fragile attempt to mend something broken. As our lips touched, the world around me dissolved completely, leaving only the sensation of her mouth on mine, the gentle pressure of her fingers on my wrist, and the thunderous rhythm of her heartbeat pounding in my ears. I felt myself becoming less, not ceasing to exist, but merging, blending, becoming one with her. Our spirits intertwined, not like a gentle embrace, but like the violent collision of two stars. The room, the papers, the rain, the very concept of my former life, everything faded into the background, swallowed by the overwhelming power of Lyra's magic. I was no longer Professor Elyria Vance, grading papers and sipping tea. I was a vessel, a conduit, a willing sacrifice to the divine. And in that moment, suspended between worlds, I understood. Lyra wasn't just a scholar, she was something ancient, something powerful, something other. And she had been drawn to me, not for my intellect, but for something hidden within me, something she hadn't even fully understood herself. The kiss deepened, and I felt myself being pulled into a world beyond my wildest dreams, a world of swirling nebulae and forgotten gods, a world where the boundaries between reality and fantasy blurred into nothingness. Lyra's power wasn't a consuming fire, but a gentle flame. carefully burning away my doubts and fears, leaving only a sense of wonder and awe in its wake. As we stood there, lost in the depths of each other's eyes, I knew with a certainty that defied logic that I was ready to follow her anywhere, to explore the secrets of the universe, to uncover the mysteries of her magic. The world outside receded, becoming a distant memory, and all that remained was the sound of our breathing, the beat of our hearts, and the gentle hum of Lyra's power. It was a moment of perfect clarity, a moment of pure connection, and I knew that I would never forget it. And then, just as suddenly as it had begun, everything stopped. The kiss ended, and I was left standing there, feeling dazed and disoriented, my legs trembling beneath me. The room snapped back into focus, the colors returning in a rush, almost painfully bright. I saw Lyra standing before me, her eyes still wide with a lingering panic, her knuckles white as she gripped my wrist. "I'm so sorry," she whispered, her voice barely audible over the sound of the rain. "I didn't mean for it to happen like that." I looked at her, trying to process what had just occurred, trying to reconcile the woman I thought I knew with the goddess I had just glimpsed. What did you mean for it to happen?" I asked, my voice shaking slightly. Lyra took a deep breath, her chest rising and falling with the movement. She released my wrist, and I immediately felt a sense of loss, a strange emptiness. "I meant to show you my power," she said, "to teach you about the magic that lies within you, to awaken it." I raised an eyebrow, intrigued despite my disorientation. "The magic that lies within me," I repeated, a skeptical edge to my voice. Lyra nodded, a small, hesitant smile playing on her lips. "Yes," she said, "you have a spark within you, a dormant potential that I can fan into a flame." A surge of excitement mingled with apprehension coursed through me at her words, a sense of possibility that I had never dared to imagine. "Teach me," I said, my voice firm, despite the tremor in my hands. Lyra's smile grew, radiating a warmth that chased away some of the lingering chill. She reached out, her fingers brushing against mine, sending another jolt of energy through my veins. "I will," she promised, "but first we need to get out of here. We can't stay in this place, not now that you've seen." I nodded, still feeling dazed, but also increasingly curious. "Seen what?" I asked, my voice barely a whisper. Lyra's eyes locked onto mine, and I felt a shiver run down my spine, a premonition of things to come. "You've seen the truth," she said, "the truth about me, about my power, and about the world we live in." I felt a sense of trepidation, but also a burgeoning sense of wonder. What truth was Lyra talking about, and what lay ahead for us? I didn't know, but I was ready to find out. With Lyra by my side, I felt like I could face anything, like I could unravel the mysteries of the universe. And as we walked out of the room into the storm, I knew that our journey was just beginning.